card is pretty amazing. So they'll go with the same thing: Vengeful Spirit, Shadow Fiends. Pretty much, it's exactly the same opener and the same bands, I believe.
So now I guess Viking ban Medusa and Drow Ranger?
Yeah. I think Medusa is a higher priority because Drow Ranger does not provide what Medusa does.
That frontline tank with the infinite damage, basically. Enchantress Sven, it is the same draft.
Maybe they feel they can beat Medusa, but if they give Nigma an opportunity, they'll go for it. I believe they will.
So what came next? it was a Mars Invoker Beastmaster trio. Okay, well there it is. We're not going to see the exact same draft again here for Game 3. We've had some stunning series today. You know, OG against VP, beautiful stuff. Now Enigma up against
Enigma
Viking.
Got same heroes.
Yep.
While Viking, they need to make an adjustment. What was banned out instead of Medusa?
It was Timbersaw.
Okay, so Viking is pretty stubborn, except banning out Medusa. This is something that happened in the Epic League Grand Finals, where Virtus Pro opened up with Alina plus Sven 3 times in a row, while OG opened up with Earth Spirit and Morphling. And after the second loss, Virtus Pro had to say, enough. Like, we have to stop. We need to try something different, and it worked out for them.
So this is where Nigma start to deviate a little bit. They had Clockwork in the previous game, and, Venge, Clock, Shadow Fiend, they all worked pretty well together, finding those early fights. Shadow Fiend finding a lot of early deaths as well, but still opening up a lot of space for that miracle hero. And you said Drow Ranger doesn't really fill the same slot as Medusa does. Are there any heroes who can?
Not the same way where you have such strong team fight. You have a hero that can reset the fight, the hero that Sven is afraid of. I mean, Enigma is still available, but they'll go with Mirana just for the start.
+4 Mirana potentially here against Enchantress. I'm pretty good at leaping away from Sven and Earth Spirit initiations too. And you'll probably have double Yules then, I guess. Shadow Fiend and Mirana both going Yules to have some really good setups. Kiting ability against the Sven, pre-BKB. Always going to be handy too.
Is this Bloodseeker?
I hope not, mate.
Against Mirana, works well. Road of Atos builder. I mean...
It just didn't seem like he did anything after the laning stage.
True. I feel like he had a really good laning stage, and maybe that also could have killed Medusa when they made too much effort. I think Rupture was used on a dead hero already. I think they could have sniped Medusa there. Maybe if Shad was joining fights with the team. I still felt like a really rough game for Viking. But let's forget about that one. Let's see what they can do in this. They go with Viper. So, I mean, do they want to get a ranged carry laner with the Vengeful Spirit? Drow's still available.
It sure is.
I think Mud Golems were the first team that introduced this lane with Viper. 33 just loves to play the offlane Viper and the Earth Spirit, where Viper gets the Nether Toxin, kills the full creep wave. Earth Spirit stays outside of the XP range. They get level 2, pulls the lane back. That's a Tidehunter into Viper. Okay, I mean, you're kind of putting yourself in a bad spot, but you can still make it work at the later stages of the game because you still have a swap to swap you out of that Kraken, swap you out of the Atos and Nether Toxin. And damage is still pretty limited on their side, I would say. If we're talking about the mid-game fights, you still have to be afraid of Sven. You still have to be afraid of the break.
But, well, if they can't have one hero that fills the role of Medusa, maybe they can have two, like Tide plus Gyro, equals Medusa. Tanky frontliner, and then you've got Flat Cannon, which is split shot.
Good way of thinking, Gary. I would have not.
Are you sure it's a good way of thinking? I don't think so.
Sure, for the memes, yeah. I mean, if you want to get the same hero, kind of, but. Whew.
That's
It
going
could
to
be a
really.
different game because Sven is not afraid to rush into Tidehunter.
Mhm.
He's not afraid of Midnight Pulse that they had, Black Hole. So a bit of a different hero.
It's more. It's like more pressure in the lane as well with Tide and Mirana against Sven Enchantress. Because what we had in the previous series, you have the 1v1s. It's no longer a dual lane against dual lane. You have like Mirana Ench 1v1, then Sven Tide 1v1, and it feels like Nigma win both of those 1v1s.
Yeah. There's really thinking this through. I mean,
So
they should take the time to try to figure out what Nigma wants to go for.
See, I was kind of wondering about, the anti-mages, the trolls, the specters and stuff. And I guess with Viper being picked, it is that kind of deterrent saying, don't pick Spectre here. Team Nigma, stay away from that. But Troll Warlord still
What
could come
about
out.
Kalanks?
Ooh.
Kalanks, Vengeful Spirit doesn't sound too bad. The extra cast
Ooh.
range in China. I've seen the games where this Kalanks with the Deso, with the Orchid, even though like Sven has high armor, he has a Warcry, a lot of HP, you still kind of feel bad when you're playing into the Clanks. It can go both ways, but they still think it's going to be a melee hero, sorry. So they ban out the Lifestealer.
And then if, Mirana starts scaling, you're going to have these basically triple ranged cores along with the Vengeful Spirit if you do go for a Clinks. And Vikings still need their mid lane hero. We saw Storm Spirit last game have some pretty good success against the Shadow Fiend, mainly due to the fact that Ench and Earth Spirit sat mid in a tri-lane for a good 2 minutes.
You suggested Troll, that could be the pick, something that we usually don't see paired up with the Vengeful Spirit, but you might need to get a stronger laner, someone that can be ranged, and the mischance against Sven, against Viper, also Enchantress. She's the one that deals a ton of damage.
Viking. Last ban time. I mean, I would honestly just ban Troll. I don't think I'm too scared about Spectre or AM or any of these other kind of miracle-esque heroes. Just something that matches up really nicely against the Sven, especially in that mid to late game. Well,
still go for the Drow. Okay.
Still Drow.
It's a decent ban. Maybe they would have gone for it. Maybe they're trying to just bait out a ban from Viking.
Yeah, when it didn't come out in the second phase, I kind of forgot about Drow Ranger. We talked about it a lot going out of the first and into the second phase of picks. Maybe that is what Nigma wanted to go for. But of course, Viking, with that final pick, they already know what their mid lane matchup's going to be. So this is primarily going to be down to whether or not they can counter Nigma's final hero. Give us something special, Miracle. Give us a godlike performance.
Well, he did in game number 2. Like, he was pretty much unkillable once he got that Manta style. I don't think he died after getting a Manta, actually.
No, I think you're right. He had like 2 deaths early on, then was absolutely unstoppable afterwards. Terrorblade going to be the final hero, so a pseudo-ranged hero there, and of course a lot of tower damage going to be coming out from it. I don't know how well it lanes against Viper, as Leshrac, the final pick from Viking. That's a big one.
That's a good one. This is the hero that I wanted to see in the previous game, even though Storm did extremely well. Oh, I'm kind of favoring Vikings lineup, because Terrorblade does not like to play into Leshrac. Also, what is that skin?
On Tide?
From Tidehunter, yeah.
It's the Halloween one, isn't it? It's all ghosty.
I know what it is, but...
Why is it?
Why?
Not what like is that? It? Why is it?
Everyone's just not using those anymore. It's out of date. So, yeah, Terrorblade into Sven matchup. Like, if we're talking about Terrorblade getting a Scotty, SNY, BKB, he's going to be okay, because Scotty just cripples Sven, the move speed. And this is a dual core from Nigma. Again, they could lose the laning stage, but have ways of coming back. but needs to be a bit of a different game. I don't think they can lose as much as they did in game number 1, because right now there is tower damage coming out from Leshrac with the Sven, and could be a bit of afraid. They pick Tidehunter into Viper, the break mechanic against the Terrorblade. Leshrac is just going to be amazing, and Enchantress can take over one of the illusions, can take once again over the illusion of the Vengeful Spirit. One thing Terrorblade needs to be careful about is something they did in game 1, where 3 heroes are just waiting for him to pop the meta. They kill him, he comes back to the lane as a melee hero.
It feels like it's going to come down to tempo again. Like the fact that game 2, Viking did play really fast in the first 15 minutes or so, but it was kind of misplaced tempo, where a lot of the focus was on Shadow Fiend and Shadow Fiend only, and they let that Medusa keep on farming. So maybe if they do a similar job in that early game in the laning stage, kill Shadow Fiend maybe 2 or 3 times, and then the primary focus is going to be that Terrorblade, really, to try and shut down Miracle. So it turned out to be their undoing. And like you're saying, Terrorblade, kind of a natural counter, especially once he gets that Skadi, outranging the Sven. We see so many times when the Sven, especially, is starting to try and run away or reset a team fight, you get touched once with a ranged Skadi hit, and you're not running. You're not escaping.
What's the big brain play here? Like, what if you know that they're gonna do this? Like, you see already they're bringing 3 heroes to the top lane. They want to kill the TB. So what if you bring 4 heroes and just hide them here, and then you get 2 kills instead?
Seems pretty big brain to me. Yeah, why the hell not? It looks like GH is going to go down bottom, though. Mirana and Tidehunter down there. Boom in the mid lane on that Leshrac. Sven for Shad. And there is GH and Mind Control. Mirana Tide with Aramis Earth Spirit up towards top. The Miracle Terrorblade and Kuroki Venge. Well, we've got ourselves a Toby Viper, a Celery Ench, and Boom is in that mid lane against the Wee Shadow Fiend. Lesh against SF. Bless your soul. It looks like TB trying to sit back a little bit, worried about anyone hiding around the corner. Early Radiant Observer Ward as well is out there, watching for any pulls, any movements from these heroes.
It's much easier to rotate with Mirana than the Clockwork in the previous game. With Shadowfiend, like, if you land an arrow, it could be the kill, and like, you're more speedy once you get that. Like, leap charges, you can help out the team much easier and get out of the trouble. Also, I want to see Shadowfiend putting a point in Requiem on level 6, where you know that Leshrac will try to play aggressively on you with the Pulse Nova. So, something that you have a counterplay to it.
Yeah, Lesh wants to be playing up on that enemy ramp, especially once you hit 6. So far, looking pretty good both sides.
Miracle just sitting here.
He's hiding
himself. The other heroes are too far away.
Enchantress probably going to have to TP bottom soon. Still sticking around, though. Aramis, he's missed out on the wave, so he can't even drag it back. And there is that Metamorphosis straight out from Miracle. Ench TPing down to bottom lane as expected. And Kuroki going to be in that kind of 1v1 against the Earth Spirit. They've already blocked up his pull camp with a sentry ward. So it looks like there's going to be no way here for Kuroki to reset the lane, as it will push back out. Shad down bottom. Getting chased out here. Mind Control and GH. They've got an arrow. Not going to connect, though. Celery and Shad both very low on HP. Going to have to spend a salve.
And Celery is very low. Like, has only 2 tangos to work with.
Yeah, he had to get a salve to
one on
spend.
Tidehunter. With another Gush, they can kill Enchantress. If she gets out of position, like right now she's just having a creep to block things. How's mid doing? 10-1, 8-1 on Wii.
Yeah, looking pretty even.
Much better start from Wii this time. Getting very close to his bottle already.
Arrow bottom. Celery gets jumped on. That final hit from GH just not coming. Oh, the war cry. It bought just enough with that bonus armor to keep Enchantress alive. And then in the mid lane, we spamming out these mangoes. And you're right, the bottle is going to be coming right now, and he's already full HP, full mana to keep the razors going. Boom looks a little bit bothered by this. Hanging out, maybe he wants a bit of help.
Top lane starts becoming tough for Miracle, so he might need to bail and just go to jungle, wait for the lane to push back in. Yes, you see he already put a second point in Conjure Image, so wants to farm that jungle.
Boom tipping him. Yeah, the level 3 Terrorblade in the jungle. I mean, this used to be the kind of normal thing, almost. You just go back, farm jungle, hide away, gives a bit of space to your Vengeful Spirit, just to leech some experience.
And it's Boom who's tipping, so, you know, he's keeping an eye what everything that's going on the different lanes. Usually it's the guy who kind of forced him out of the lane. Oh, Shad could be in a trouble. If Arrow connects. Okay, Warcry, just a harassment. Celery coming with a creep.
And then GH is going to have the arrow to kill the creep anyway. And this gives Tidehunter such a free time, like mind control. Okay, he's got 11 CS, but getting tons of experience and the ability just to stay in this lane with both heroes. Nigma feeling very, very comfortable. Also the fact that... Oh, missing the arrow on the Dark Troll there. Celery moves forward, gets one trap and one impetus, and then immediately sprunks back. Alright, mid lane. I see Aramis moving. Oh, he's found a Terrorblade illusion. That's good scouting from Miracle, making sure that Wii isn't getting completely opened up by the Earth Spirit rotation.
And because they're playing aggressively on the bottom lane, like Earth Spirit shows up, Shadowfiend knows, like, I can't play as aggressive, I need to take care of myself, because I'm not gonna get my bottle refilled. 200 gold away from the Boots of Speed, then things are gonna get much easier for SF, but maybe GH should try to rotate to the mid lane, because if Earth Spirit is missing, like, you have kill potential on the Shadowfiend. Leshrac also getting very close to that level 6.
Yeah, and Aramis just finds Miracle back in the jungle. Cancels out his clarity, spots out a little stack that TB had made. And Enchantress, yeah, going to go steal a creep from the other side of the jungle and also try and gather up some of these bounty runes. Might actually... Oh, no. Celery, going to get a courier snipe? Yeah, takes down Tide's courier. But that does mean Weehard does refill his bottle with a bounty. And top lane, Toby diving under the tier 1-4 Kuro. Venge can always just TP away from this. Does exactly that.
Tier 2.
Clever. While mid lane, Weehard. That's a big impetus here. First blood from Celery. Good little rotation. Again, they bring both supports around that 5-minute bounty rune mark. Make sure they shut down the Shadow Fiend. But a good arrow kills off the catapult and stops the push.
GH gets some free gold. Like, he just took off the catapult and killed the creep from Enchantress. Bottom lane, I don't think you touch this Tidehunter, even though he does not even have a point in Kraken Shell. That's the beauty of Tidehunter. You're like, yeah, you can't kill me. Like, maybe you're maxing that out. A second point in Gush, something that I haven't seen in a really long time. And it's also mana
nice
consuming.
Dodge. Doesn't matter though. Kuroki sidesteps the roll, but Toby has 3 points in the poison attack at this point. They're also continuing to make stacks. GH building up a bit of jungle there for the Terrorblade to return to. But it feels like, you know, the kettle is starting to boil and Viking are getting to that point very soon where they're going to have this burst of action. You know, Toby has this urn. He'll have Rod of Atos soon. Earth Spirit is going to get closer to that level 6. And that top tier 1 falling is going to be a big problem for Nigma, as it really does close out the amount of farm that Terrorblade is going to have.
Yeah, because when you take that tier 1 tower to the top lane, you will have Earth Spirit and Enchantress moving to the bottom or the mid lane, and mid lane tower almost to half HP already. Only 1 point in Edict on Leshrac, so I assume he's just gonna keep putting more points in Edict. There's the mid dive. There's no even a connection. SF with the Requiem.
Oh, the stun stops it. Doesn't have a stick or anything either, so no bit of burst regen. Boom. Gets the solo kill as Aramis also snipes out Kuroki in the top lane. And that is that burst of aggression that Viking were most certainly waiting for. Sven doesn't seem too bothered. You know, he can go back into jungle, farm a few little camps here and there, and then put Viper bottom lane to really sit and soak in that bottom lane. Or even maybe look for a kill on mind control. Trying to chase him. Aramis has TP'd in. Don't think they've got the damage for it, though. And then mid lane, Arrow slides straight past the backside of the Disco Pony. But he's got a lot of good damage in that tier 1.
You know, we want to push you away from our tower. And now Viper's bottom. He has an earn charge. And he's level 7. So Tidehunter needs to be careful. Doesn't even have a point in Kraken at the moment.
Does have the Ravage, though, if Nigma want to bring a bunch of heroes down here.
Maybe that's a big brain play. You're playing into Viper, you don't even get it. Arrow will connect. That's an easy kill.
That is a really nice setup there. Magic Missile, Arrow. Finish him with Mind Control. Keep that Ravage for the next team fight as well. A little bit unfortunate that Shadow Fiend didn't get the bottom rune. It is a haste up at top, while Aramis trying to de-ward, but unsuccessfully so. Does at least know there's an observer ward on the high ground. But it's a difficult defense of this mid-tier 1 now for Nigma.
It's done. They're using the glyph, already outnumbered. They're bringing an extra hero, right? Tidehunter with a TP, so this might be it.
Gush into the haste of Lash. They've got the tower and they are escaping. Can they stun the Enchantress on the way out? Tidehunter trying to walk forward, but Vipers arrive. Good little kick there, catching a couple on the way out, and the break. Oh, that's tickling Tide down, and he will hit the ground now. In comes Lash with the haste again. They roll forward onto Wii. Nigma, they are struggling now as the Arrow connects on nobody, and the Shadow Fiend left isolated by the rest of his team. Again, they are soaking up a lot of this aggression from Viking. Terrorblade is continuing to farm.
Roll from the Earth Spirit, just to give vision. They will get rid of that Observer Ward. Like, getting away 2 free tier 1 towers is gonna be rough. 2 leap charges, they're not gonna dive. So, Shad, once again, like, he's going for the same item build. Like, I respect that, where, you know, he thinks something is good and does not want to change it. He has a different point of view when it comes to itemization on Sven than other players.
Yeah, has his own approach. He's going to God Strength for a couple of camps there. But down bottom lane is where it looks like Nigma want to try and set up a bit of a base camp. Maybe move towards that tier 1 at 700 HP on the Radiant bottom lane. They don't seem to have the opportunity to do so. Bounty Rune's going to get grabbed up by Shad, Kuro, Aramis, and 1 remaining on that left-hand side of the map. Oh, boom. Already has Boots of Travel. Getting well on his way towards that Yule Scepter now.
He had Yule Scepter queued up, then realizes, I can get away with this. I can also split the map, and I can be whatever it's needed. Sven will just be jungling, but I can take like bottom tower easily if something's happening on the opposite side of the map. I just don't want to see, like, Viper, his itemization most of the time is Rod of Atos into Boots of Travel. You can't afford to get that. Like, you can't have 2 heroes with Boots of Travel because it's too much gold invested in nothing. And you also have Sven, who consumes most of the farm in the jungle and the lane, depending, you know, whether you have a tier 1 tower or not.
How
so
about
I think he needs to tank up.
a Crimson Guard?
Sure, I'm down for it. I was about to say it. Either that or, like, they don't have too much magical damage. Some from Shadow Fiend, but most of it's right click. I would not mind, like, either a BKB or a Crimson Guard.
Yeah, could work pretty nicely. Well, here comes a smoke again from Viking. 7-1 with a 4k lead, and they want to try and make another mark on this map. Yeah, ideally, they'd want to hunt for the Terrorblade, but Miracle has done a really great job at keeping his KDA at 0-0-0. Back in the jungle,
for those who just tuned in, he bailed to jungle, level 3.
Yeah. And now they're going to pause and wonder, where is that Terrorblade? They've got another hero in this game. We've not seen him for a good 9 minutes or something. Enigma not going to show anyone. We are 0-3-0 on the SF, trying to get into that Yule Scepter as quickly as he can. And net worth-wise, you know, he's middle of the pack. Very, very similar feel to Game 2. Terrorblade, of course, not Medusa, but similar in some regards, hitting that.
Similar, yes, but I don't think you can do the same thing as they did, because you have no ability that pierces magic immunity, you're still gonna be, dealing a ton of damage. But right now you're sitting at 800 HP. Leshrac just melts you. You die to 5 poison attacks from Viper.
Or a double tap from Sven once he gets that Echo Saber.
You know what's the power play? When you stack enemy jungle and then farm it.
Are you talking about this top jungle on the dire side?
Yeah.
Yep, that's not dire jungle anymore. That all belongs to the Radiant.
So Mind Control refuses to get a point in Kraken Shell. He's like, I'm playing against Viper, I know I'm gonna get broken, and I'm not gonna even get it.
What's the point? GH TP's top, finds Aramis for a second there, raindrops get traded out. Viking not going to commit or do anything silly, trying to take down that tier 2. And they know that, as long as they can keep Nigma down in that kind of bottom portion of the map, they can continue farming Sven much more effectively. But an interesting smoke from Nigma here. Smoking up their Terrorblade. He's got Dragon Lance, Metamorphosis level 3, Shadow Fiend. He's coming in here, level 9, not really any items. And they pop the meta, swap back Celery, and that's an immediate kill on the Enchantress. But what can they do from it? Anything they can actually transition into?
Just keep farming. I don't think you can take a fight into Leshrac right now. So just keep farming, keep stacking the Ancients for Terrorblade to clear them. Also Tide can clear the Ancients as well. I see Mech queued up on the Tide Hunter and the Blink Dagger. So no Guardian Greaves, something that usually we see when he's playing against Viper. Like, you want to have a way of dispelling things for yourself. But, he'll see how this game goes, whether he needs to get a Blink Dagger and get the first jump. Because right now they are lacking initiation. Like, the only way they initiate into a fight is with the Moonlight Shadow, and they also need like Terrorblade's damage. I don't think they have enough. So kind of similar game to game 1, where Nigma lost the laning stage and wants to recover. They want to play for like 30+ minute games. Like, they do not want to take earlier fights.
Yeah, learning from some Counter-Strike teams and playing for retake, as they do Requiem on that Earth Spirit top. A nice little play from GH and Wii, and you said it. Moonlight Shadow to initiate, good little pick-off, and the smoke and the Moonlight Shadow, they are doing a nice little get-off-my-lawn movement, as Kuroki is also... I don't know how many sentries are up there, but there's like 7 sentries in his jungle trying to de-ward as best he can.
Yeah, because this is where you want your Terrorblade to be. And there's also 2 sentries at the triangle. So Kuroki just doing his best, like doing his job. I've seen Kuroki also putting more points in like Wave of Terror and Magic Missile instead of maxing the aura, something that other position 5 players are not doing, but maybe he starts getting a point in aura. Also, one reason why he is not doing it, so that once Enchantress takes over the illusions, they don't get much value from it. So could be the same thinking that what the Mind Control is doing.
Yeah, don't let this get turned around. No point in having that redundancy.
Alright, I'm taking my stick out. I'm gonna poke them, do something. This is a kill. Position 5 died. I want to see some big team fights. I want to see this Ravage being used.
It was like the last 3 kills have been position 5. Like Venge, Enchantress, over and over again. Heading around in circles. Shadow Fiend with a nice little walk up to the double bounty runes top. And it's still only about a 3k lead here. It's plateauing a touch. It was accelerating for Viking, but Nigma doing a great job holding on. And they might make a move onto this Lash. We in a really good position. Doesn't have Requiem though.
But he can set things up. Just
yours into Arrow?
Scepter into Arrow. He's looking for an angle. There it is.
Waiting for that creep wave to go and waiting for the Lash to appear. Yule's Arrow, Razors and Starstorm. Easy pickings on Taboom's Leshrac. And Kuroki, he's also come up here. Good little... Nice job, boys. Well played.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Invisibility.
That's a pretty big kill on the Lesh as well. That stymies a lot of the pressure the Viking would want to bring in the next couple of minutes. Still
and
waiting
again,
for
Moonlight Shadow.
Oh,
Requiem combination is ready.
Can they find anybody? It feels like Viking knows something's happening. They have all run back. But GH has spotted Viper, Earth Spirit, and the Enchantress. He knows and he feels the role moving forward. They try and dust to make a play. Rod of Atos onto the SF, but the Terrorblade. He's arrived and they stun up Toby, obliterating Celery and Viking are falling apart. A roll back cancelled by the swap from Kuroki, a double coming in, and a triple for Miracle. It does arrive. Terrorblade on the map now, making his mark.
I think they go straight into Roche Pit. They just want to fight, and that was without using a Ravage, so Blink Dagger available on Tidehunter. Someone tank it up so he can deal the damage.
Nice little pop on the Lincolns as well to allow the gush. Minus armor onto Roshan.
Sven is 0-0-0. I don't like this. I mean, you want to fight with this hero. Like, we're talking about late game, and it belongs to Nigma once again. Like, they need to achieve a lot. Now they lost to Roche. Like, could be the same thing that happened in game 2, where Nigma just plays for the late game. They lost the laning stage. Now they understand, like, we're pretty even. Like, we don't care too much that, you know, we did not go through 3k gold ahead in the lane. So,
you know, all of that advantage now is gone. 5,000 net worth lead about 13 minutes in. It's come down to pretty much nothing. And in that next fight, you've been saying this Blink with the mech on Tide, they're gonna have it. Big sustain, big initiation, lots of ways to cover the Terrorblade. And he doesn't have his Manta or his BKB yet, both of which
squishy.
are queued
Yeah,
up.
he dies easily, because look at his HP. It's 1300 with the strength treads.
Yeah.
Oh, he even gets the Grobo. He's, you know, keeping things open, see whether I need a Grobo, how it's gonna play out. Also, Imp Claw. Like, maybe I need more damage, now decides to swap in the Imp Claw. This is when you get two really good items that you want to get, you know, but can't keep both. Tidehunter.
Blinks on Boom. Went for the gush, but it was a good silence from RMS, making sure that he couldn't just ravage Boom's Lashrak. Viking are all going to retreat. And yet again, it is this big movement from 4 Nigma heroes, securing an area of the map, and they are doing it in force every time, while Miracle has these little pockets that he's able to continue farming into. And of course, with Aegis in hand, it feels like Nigma probably want to take the tier 1 mid lane and really open up the map for themselves. Viking Opinion out, expecting that same kind of thing. And finally, Shad has BKB, so Lacoste, Vikings should be ready to fight with everything they've got.
Yeah, this is it. Either he just straight up dies. Yeah,
the Ravage,
no BKB
free BKB. They've killed off Shad. That's perfect from Nigma. Now they want to swap back on the track. Yule's up into the air, but they've got Arrow to stun and the Fear from the Requiem. All connecting with the 2 big cores falling. Nigma perfectly maneuver themselves into that Radiant Triangle.
2 cores just died, and like, they're messing up with their timing so much, because Viking wanted to take a fight right now with the fresh BKB bot on Sven. I love how V itemizes. He's not going for any greedy build, instead like Yule Scepter for a setup, and I'm gonna get a BKB straight away, because he knows TB will get the farm.
GH is blinking in though. Revenge for Mind Control as the Terrorblade will slay the Viper. Mega kill into a double.
Damage.
It's an unstoppable Miracle TB. Aramis can't find an entry point. Sven is TPing to that top tier 1. But they're going to be fighting into this Aegis Terrorblade. Slowing him down. They know there's no Manta. He's got Manta. No Sunder. Split Earth and the Edict. Boom is
This is problematic.
This is difficult for Miracle now because the Aegis has popped and there's no backup. Venge is miles away. Venge is bottom lane. So, the Manta not dodging the stun. This time, they get the job done, and Terrorblade down as Viking finally hit one of their timings with the items they picked up, and maybe we'll catch even GH. Yule Split Earth, landing it. No, the leap from GH into the Moonlight Shadow, but the Pulse Nova's coming, and GH is burnt alive.
Alright, this is exactly what Viking needed. They need to bring Sven together with the Lesh and just beat onto that TB. So TB swapping things around. I saw BKB being queued up, but wants to tank up against the Lashrak, against the Sven, get some extra armor. It's not like he needs more armor, but right now sitting at 68%. He actually needs to get more armor. Like, we need to get that number to 69 physical resistance.
Nice. SF BKB coming in a couple of hundred. Give that man his BKB. And mind control, ravage, intent. Viking just very passively on the map. 2 heroes back in their triangle. Earth Spirit and Lesh looks like they are trying to meander their way up towards the top lane. Now this has definitely been a series of farming. Everyone very, very actively farming creeps and very inactively moving around the map.
Yeah, the boys just want to hit some creeps. You talked about itemization on Viper. He's going for that Crimson Guard, which, you know, is going to help a lot against the physical damage from TB, illusions, some right clicks from Shadowfiend.
Deny on the mid-tier one. Celery takes it out.
I want to see a smoke from Viking. I want to see them pushing out the lanes, bottom lanes, constantly being pressured by the illusions. So they need to first fix the lanes, and then they can start thinking about it. You still have this Leshrac, who's extremely powerful.
It sure
Very
is.
close to his item.
Yeah, Bloodstone.
Yeah.
Up in about 1,000 gold. Viking with a great idea where Nigma are, though. I mean, they see Terrorblade pushing the tier 2 bottom lane, so they've got a pretty good plan that the rest of them are sitting behind him on that high ground in the jungle. So they're making the most of the map elsewhere. Nigma all grouping up, losing out a little bit in that farm efficiency as both Sven and Lesh very adept at clearing through these camps. Now top tier 3 is also going to take a little bit of damage. Someone's got to come back and address that problem.
Oh yeah,
the long line is drawn.
130 damage is gonna make a whole lot of difference.
Hey,
on that tier 3 tower.
Unhealable damage.
Yes, it is.
Unless the repair kit comes out. And the long line from Nigma did actually signal their intent to head up towards top. And Roshan in about a minute and a half for the fastest spawn. But it doesn't feel like they're in a rush at all.
I think, once again, late game belongs to Nigma. With the TB, there's this full Scotty that's about to be completed in the next minute. Tidehunter did not finish. Guardian Greaves, just going for the straight armor. Shadowfiend, 1,000 gold away from Blink. So there could be another fight in the next minute and a half when they get 2 items.
Yeah,
this is exactly when Roche is going to respawn.
If Shad decides he wants to actually go and fight somebody. He's building himself up all big and strong, but he seems like he's a pacifist. Nearly at the Aghanim Scepter. Does he have the rest on the Courier? Oh, he does. Staff of Wizardry and Blade of Alacrity on Courier. Point Booster and Ogreax still yet to go.
What have we here?
Aramis stealing out a couple of bounty runes very sneakily. Well, there isn't anyone there to stop him, so he'll just roll in, roll out. Terrorblade can't do anything about that. So
I want
actually,
to see
all 4.
Shad be more active. Maybe he knows something about the new patch, like something hidden within the creeps. Like maybe he knows that creeps are gonna get buffed more damage. He gets arrow. That's a full duration arrow. TB meta.
Yeah, they're gonna find him. There's that Skadi slowing him down. BKB does get expended while Aramis gives his life over to Team Nigma. While up in the dire jungle, Mind Control is gonna waddle away from Enchantress and the Lesh. And Sven in the end, of course, does survive.
You see Miracle, he swapped out the Imp Claw. Now he's using the Grow Bow. Just want to see how things work out. Like maybe this is better with the Venge aura.
Getting a feel?
Like the range, if he hits level 25 talent somehow, like the attack range is gonna be insane.
With a telescope.
Yeah, with the telescope, he's definitely gonna have a better tier item, that's for sure. But Leshrac can't get close. He's super farmed, but he needs Sven to get in. He wants Earth Spirit to create some chaos, probably control, get him to 2/3 of HP, and then he goes in. Because right now he's still squishy.
Terrorblade just goes back up top and keeps on farming. But yeah, I think you're right. Maybe Shad knows something about the new patch, so he wants this game to last until Thursday. He's just waiting for it.
I'm wondering what would happen. Like, that was always my question. If somehow two teams could not beat each other, like one team would have to, you know, call a GG.
Just tap out. I mean, like, what? Yeah, what?
You need to eat.
What are the What are the rules? What are? Where's the rule book on that?
Like, if you play for 20 hours, like, yeah, we're just gonna pause the game, go to bed, wake up, get some good breakfast, exercise, and go back into it.
Yeah, so just GG go re.
Yeah, you talked about the telescope. They found it.
Oh, they did. All right, Terrorblade, what's your attack range now? It looks like you swapped in a Titan Sliver instead of the Grove Bow. Telescope on the Venge, so we've got that.
Just in
swap
case.
Range.
Still keeping that bow.
Yeah, he is. Very good zonal control of the map here from both sides. But Roshan has respawned, so everyone's going to start converging and eyeing up the Roche pit, knowing how important Aegis and Cheese is for both sides. It feels like, in particular, for this Nigma side. 12 to 12, dead even. Again, a very close game, but you've been saying the late game belonging to Nigma around this Terrorblade, who is nearly at that butterfly stage. We just don't see Sven really enjoy buying MKB, but he has one queued up. He knows the butterfly's coming, so he kind of has to.
Yeah, he feels it. I don't think Miracle showed his new Shiny Eagle song, but you gotta know what itemization Terrorblade is gonna go for.
Oh, Moonlight Shadow comes to nothing, so a smoke from Viking moving past the pit. Kuroki and Mind Control kind of frontlining here. They've got a BKB on Shadow Fiend. Terrorblade Illusion is going to move forward, but sees absolutely nobody. Lots of pings from Viking. They think they want to try and get a high ground ward or some kind of vision to actually start this fight off. The Dire scan the Earth Spirit. They know that Viking potentially coming from that right-hand side because they're taking the outpost. 29 minutes in.
Can't afford to use scan more often because of the 50% cooldown from that telescope that we always forget to mention.
Clever man, Lacoste. You absolutely know it. Oh, Nigma. They scan, they know someone was there, and they're feeling like they can actually move back across the area, maybe retake the outpost. Oh, Mind Control, stutter stepping, goes up high ground, spots the Earth
what
Spirit.
A blink!
The blink away from the right click. Oh, BKB from the Shadow Fiend jumping in. The Sven is there with the All Scepter up. They do try and catch the Earth Spirit and they try and blow him up. The race is not enough though, and Weehaw has to run. But that's God Strength BKB down for the Sven, and Shadow Fiend, well, he expends a couple of his abilities. But
they're fine with that, because Sven just popped the ulti and he used the God Strength, so this really benefits Nigma. Like, Shadowfiend's like, I'm not the core guy here. You know, I'm just the one that wants to keep you busy. And here comes the Big Daddy, TB.
Oh, Arrow somehow goes under the wings of the Viper, then we swap him back into the waiting arms of the Terrorblade.
Oh, DD just spawned.
Oh, yes,
he gave him the bottle.
Did. Yule's on the Leshrac. In comes the Earth Spirit, catching the Ravage onto 3. They do clip the Leshrac on the left-hand side, but they're focusing the Sven. The Global Cape not enough. And Terrorblade with the DD rune is shredding through them all. Double kill for Miracle. And he wants Toby. He's hit him once with a Scardy slow. RMS rolling back, trying to save Toby's life. But this TB range, look at how far he's attacking from. Shadow Fiend has blinked aggressively under the tier 2. Weehaw might survive, but it's an ultra for Miracle, and he's got a Rampage.
Give him the Rampage.
Give him the double. Give him the double Rampage. Bloodstone Yule's for the Shrek now, but it's nowhere near enough to handle Miracle, this Terrorblade. He is absolutely cruising.
Oh, Enchantress bought out and probably just tried to take off that double damage with the enchant, but failed to do so. Just straight up died. Even without double damage, they do not win that fight. I think in Viking, they needed to be more active early on. It's pretty much the same scenario as happened in game 2. So TB will take the Aegis here, has Daedalus queued up. Boom, buying back.
Okay. Boom. Interesting. Well, the tips come.
He wants those tips, you know.
He is a tip
I think
farmer.
they're done. I think they're done with this game.
He is harvesting them. Yules, Arrow, Boom gets caught. Wee's coming in with a BKB, Requiem, and another Yule Scepter. They're going to blow up Boom here, down to half HP. The double
Perfectly
raises.
timed.
Really well done by Wee. Die back on the Leshrac, gone for 100 seconds. Aegis and Cheese in the hands of your Miracle Terrorblade. And Team Nigma, it looks
There's
like
the last
game
tip.
2.
This is it. 5th tip, and the mind control does it again.
One by one they fall.
Radiant's top tower
And the thing is, that all lasted so long, Metamorphosis is back up in 25 seconds. Throwing spells onto the Terrorblade. Little by little, whittling him down, but they've swapped Toby back in. Sven, well, he's come into this fight a little bit late. We'll try and focus down and take out Kuroki. God Strength and that Aghanim Stormhammer paying off dividends. Holding the BKB, which is still 8 seconds duration. And Magnetize
What if Shad is like,
spammed out.
I want to play Sven in the next patch? Oh, he's gonna get DB.
Nice man to dodge.
Evasion.
And the evasion still
Gonna get
loses
it
the
off.
Aegis.
BKB. So yeah, what if Shad is actually, you know, playing
Mind
Sven
gaming?
badly, mind gaming, like to show Ice Frog that the hero doesn't need nerfs, and then he continues playing it full potential, full power in the next patch.
Radiant's top tower
We have to ask him what's his favorite hero. If that's his favorite hero, kind of makes sense.
Just keep Sven viable, please.
middle tower has fallen.
Nigma going to take down 2 lanes of barracks, it looks like, focusing on the melee ones at the beginning.
Has fallen.
They can even go bottom if they would really like to.
Has fallen.
Still 17 seconds without the Leshrac. Wants the
Crimson
defense
Dart
move,
pop.
nice. Nice blink dodge, catches the Viper, and that's him dead for 50. No buyback available. They also use an arrow, catching and stunning the Earth Spirit, and that's it. Buyback
Just
from
a
Aramis
casual
forced out.
buyback. You know what I like to say, Gary. When it's
Oh,
time to
boom.
call it, it is time to call it.
It looks
I
like it's
believe
time to
this
call
is
it. And there's the big Ravage, going to be securing this game for Team Nigma, taking down Shad, buying back into the battle. But this Terrorblade, with Sunder still ready to go, he pops the man to the cheese. The Stormhammer's there, and he does jump forward on Aramis, but Miracle's just too tanky. They don't have the staying power, and Shad's BKB is meaningless without the God Strength. It's up in 3 seconds with a 3-man Stormhammer. The mech from Mind Control heals them all back up, and they've got a Solar Crest to play with as Shad is killed a second time in a row, while Celery yules and calls GG. Game 3 goes the way of Team Nigma. And a second game in a row where they really do wait it out till that late game timing.
Yeah, I mean, they did exactly the same thing, and I'd say Viking kind of helped them out, opening up with the same 3 heroes again, and seems like they did not, you know, want to learn anything from the second game. Like, they just played it out the same way. I feel that if Sven is much more active, they need to be, because they also left Nigma to get the first Roshan, and everything went downhill from that.
Yeah, it went all downhill, and then when Miracle got the double damage rune, it spiraled completely out of control. That really did secure the victory there for Nigma in the end around the Roche Pit. And yeah, there's lessons to be learned there from Viking, I guess, about how to deal with Miracle on these very heavy, hard-hitting carries that do want to span the game into that late game. Wait to try and hit one of those later timings. But, man, a couple of really good series there. You know, VP up against OG, Nigma against Viking here. Some good back and forth between all the sides. As we can see the bracket right before our very eyes. Beautiful production, very good timing. Of course, we saw Live to Win, Na'Vi, Alliance Mod Golems, a couple of 2-0s early on. Lacoste, we were blessed with 2 1s.
Yeah, I mean, these like the first one was much more competitive, the first series. The second one was I'm not gonna call it
A one-way street.
boring. It's just, you know, Nigma having understanding what they need to do and how to play out the game, which might seem, you know, boring. There aren't many kills, and they show up for a one big fight, they win it, and the game kind of just ends.
It sure did. So then, of course, continuing on, upper bracket, Na'Vi against Alliance, OG against Nigma should be a real good one. And down in the lower bracket, Live to Win Mod Golems and VP against Viking. So that's it for tonight. Our series all done. It's bang on midnight here in Europe. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream, enjoyed the games. Make sure you do tune in tomorrow and for the next couple of days as Dota Pit Season 4 continues.